Minister?
Rachel Reeves is not standing to be First Minister, Keir Starmer is not standing to be First Minister, I'm standing to be First Minister, and it's me against John Swinney. That's the choice people have in the election in 6 months' time. Do they want a third decade of the SNP in power, with John Swinney in charge, with them ruining our NHS, our schools falling down the international league tables, removing community policing, destroying the housing market here in Scotland, decimating communities with their cuts to local government? Or do we want to take a different approach with a Scottish Labour government and me as First Minister? That's a campaign I absolutely relish. John Swinney wants to stand against Nigel Farage. He wants to talk about anything but his record, but we're going to talk about Scotland. And if we talk about Scotland, I'm confident we'll win that election. Well, no, I'm making it clear that the election is in 6 months' time is a choice not of who the UK government is, not of who the Prime Minister is. It is a choice on who the Scottish government is and who the First Minister is. And the choice in that is John Swinney, the incompetence that comes with the SNP, or a new direction with me and Scottish Labour. Well, look, that's we'll wait and see what's in the budget in a few weeks' time. She is the UK Chancellor that's responsible for income tax in England and Wales. Income tax in Scotland is the responsibility of the Scottish Government. And actually the only person that's been campaigning loudly for the last 2 years for a rise in income tax in England and Wales is John Swinney, and he's the very same man that negotiated the fiscal framework. I think we're in a fantastic position as we head towards an election in 6 months' time, where the choice is record long waiting lists under the SNP or fixing the NHS with me as First Minister, where the choice is a destruction of community policing under the SNP or a return to community policing with me as First Minister, where the choice is falling school standards under the SNP or investing in young people's opportunities with me as First Minister, where the choice is continuing to waste public money. People are rightly asking the question where the money has gone, John, with him and the SNP, or a First Minister is going to respect your money and make sure we actually have competence in government rather than the incompetence of the SNP. That's a competition I absolutely relish.
Support that.
Well, first of all, this is speculation.
But secondly, you back it, what you're supposed to.
First of all, that's speculation. The income tax rates in England and Wales are a matter for a UK Chancellor. Scottish income tax rates are a matter for the Scottish Government. And that is the fiscal framework negotiated by John Swinney, and the person that's been arguing for, and actually fact demanding income tax rises in England and Wales has been John Swinney. What I'm focused on is how we have a competent government here in Scotland that delivers for people here in Scotland. And the choice is John Swinney, the SNP, or me and Scottish Labour. And that, as I say, that's a competition I relish. Well, I'm really clear, and we made that clear in the Scottish Labour manifesto. I've said it repeatedly. I think the tax burden is too high for people here in Scotland. You can understand I'm not going to write budgets even well before an election, never mind the outcome of that election, but I'm really clear we've got to bring down the tax burden for people here in Scotland. But that's going to require us to end the incompetence, stop the waste, and spend people's money properly, and that's not happening under this SNP government. Look, it's heartbreaking, and a lot of what's happening in our communities is heartbreaking, and there are too many young people being failed and there's too many communities being failed. I think we have to look at what's happening in our social media feeds, and that's why there has to be stronger regulation of the social media giants. Secondly, we have to make our schools safe places to learn and safe places to teach. That's why we've said we would ban mobile phones in the classroom. And third, we've got to get to grips with the mess that's currently being presided over in our criminal justice system. We've got 1,000 fewer police officers since the creation of Police Scotland. We've got police officers stuck in A&E departments or courtrooms because of the incompetence of the SNP government when they should be on the street fighting crime and supporting local communities. We've got 10,000 outstanding arrest warrants, including for rape and attempted murder and murder. That is not acceptable, but again it points to SNP incompetence. We've got £1 billion being spent on a prison that was supposed to cost £100 million. That £900 million could have built over 40 health centres across our country, and because of the SNP's incompetence in running our criminal justice system, we've had hundreds of criminals released early from our prisons rather than actually serving their full sentences. It's an absolute mess of the SNP's making, and it proves why they want to talk about Farage, why they want to talk about reform, why they want to talk about anything but their own record. And that's why the choice in 6 months is carrying on that incompetence with John Swinney and the SNP, or taking a new direction with Scottish Labour.